I'm gonna slip in before I announce what's next. That like it is morally irresponsible to say Ukrainians have the right to their land, their right to resist, their right to keep out anybody invading their country, and then say, but Israel has the right to do that to Gaza. It's like, come on, people. All right, so this is what's coming up.
down till we see.
I'm so excited. I'm going to be
place
listening
for
in
SU.
because I need this.
And then we make a
Pacifica
lot.
Radio is going to be presenting Crisis in Gaza from 11 to 1.
Whether you're religious or not is never again. Those are the two big words. Every Jewish person has heard never again. We will never allow this again. And there are two interpretations of never again. There's never again for some of the people we're hearing only to Jewish people or Israel. And then there's never again to anyone. And the true lesson of Judaism, the one that Judaism favors itself, is never again to anyone. And for it to happen in our name on some level, in our name, makes it that much worse. And what it does, it also gives Jewish people, and Jewish people listening to this, an obligation to speak out. And let me give a nod to you. I don't know if people know this, DC, but you know, I was struggling back in 2012, 2013. I was still on that atrocities on both sides. 2012 was waking me up. I wasn't doing my homework. I didn't know really about the open air prison. I didn't know about Israeli apartheid. Like on that level, I purposely didn't study it in a very cowardly way, right? And I saw you, and you've been writing about it in sports circles, I think since 2008, 2007, 2006, and when no one was touching it. And I remember, and you spoke, and we were at a meeting, and you spoke, and you said, well, you know, if you're a Jewish person, and you're not speaking out about what's going on in Palestine and Israeli apartheid, it is the equivalent of a white person in America not speaking about Jim Crow in the 50s, in the 60s. That's the position you're taking. Even silence is the position you're taking. I'm like, all right, I don't want to be that person, right? And I'm working through it, and I start doing a little more homework. And around 2014, that's when I come out. The massacre in 2014, I say, enough's enough. You know what? I'm going to go to this protest. It's in D.C. I'm going to cover this protest. I'm going to interview people. Enough's enough. Whatever happens, happens. And we're, you know, a light years away from 2014 as far as consciousness amongst the left, right? We have much more information and videos that right now, maybe unlike 2014 where we didn't have social media and all these horrific videos, there's no excuse whatsoever. You cannot claim ignorance, okay? And the other part that brought me out of it as a Jewish person, besides your pushing, was simply this. The same thing we use in sports, right? So like the famous sports analogy was back in 1978 when the Yankees swept the Boston Red Sox over 4 games to do a historic comeback. I believe the scores were like 15-2 and 7-0 and 15 and 13-1. And it was, they called it, you know what they called it, Dave. Do you want to say it?
No, go for it, man.
They said the Boston Massacre. Okay, they called it the Boston Massacre. It's just sports and math. That 4-game sweep by the Yankees. And we say words like that, sports. So I started, let me look at the math, because I was told there's atrocities on both sides. And from 2008 till this past week, well, there have been 6,406 Palestinian civilians killed, mostly civilians killed, 6,406, and there have been 300 Israelis killed during that time, over 21-1. And we call that, any other place, we call that objectively a massacre. And that my eyes opened in 2014 when I started looking at the map. I said, wow, 1,500 civilians who were Palestinian were murdered, only 6 civilians who were Israelis. 1,506, that's a massacre. Then I started looking at children, 500-1. One child, Israeli child died. That Israeli child was on the news at that time. 500 Palestinian children did not have the humanity to be counted or be talked about. And then at one place, this is white supremacy. So I started coming out of it from math, now reading, I'm learning about Israeli apartheid, and there's very much not my name. And when I covered the protest,